Hello, I'm going to share with you a little bit about one of my favorite tools, which is Class Dojo. Class Dojo I used for keeping track of student behaviors, kind of a management tool, but it's also just a huge communication tool that I absolutely loved using with parents. You visit classdojo.com if you haven't already, and you can sign up for a free account. If you put which school you teach at, if there are other teachers from your school, you'll be able to kind of connect to the school community, which is really cool. I think the more teachers you can get on board using it at your school and just creating a consistent portal for this kind of information is really, really helpful. So you'll see on my home screen here, I'm still connected with Beartooth Elementary School. There are 14 teachers who've signed up there. Here are my classes. I've archived some of the classes, so once you are finished with the class, you can archive it so it doesn't show up here on your screen all the time. I'm going to scroll down a little bit just so that you can see there are some great resources when you first begin. There's some good getting started guides, easy ways to use Dojo, and just some little tips that are at the bottom. So don't forget to scroll down and kind of check those things out. I'm going to go ahead and just use my class from last year. So you'll see that this screen here shows me all of the students that I added. It gives them these funny little monster avatar things. It just assigns it to them. You can let them go in and change them at some time. So you can see I've got my whole class here and then all of the students. These are the little points that they've been awarded, so you can see the different points. You can also set up groups, which wasn't available last year, so I don't have any set up. But I love this idea. Maybe you have them in groups when they're at centers or groups for their table seats. It would be a really quick and easy way to manage that. When I first set up the class, I put in the student names, and I'm going to go into settings here and edit this class. So you can see where I could add students quickly. I can also delete students from here. I can see what parents are connected, and this part is very easy as well. I can use this download and print feature. So I always set this up before school started and had these invites printed and handed out at the Meet the Teacher Night or open house at the very beginning of the year. And I usually had really great response to this. Here I have 14 of 19 parents connected. So this was one of the most successful things that I used as far as getting parents engaged. They then set up their own, they put in their email and do all that connecting so that you don't need to do that. I can edit the behaviors that it shows. It does come with some default behaviors, but I liked coming in and making them a little bit more specific to what was happening in our classroom. So one example would be this RAS Kids one down here. We use RAS Kids in our class, so I would give them points if they had read RAS Kids from home during that week, or if they had gone on to our kid blog page and done that from home. So I tried to make them a little bit more specific. There's also behaviors here of things that need work. Again, this was a huge thing that I loved. In the past, when students did something of this nature, maybe they had to move a yellow or green or red card, something like that, and then I sent home a note or called the parent and told them what had happened. This became a way for me to be able to manage that without having to send notes home and that kind of thing all of the time. So I did try to make these a little bit more specific, not following directions, not keeping hands and feet to themselves, taking something that doesn't belong to you, etc. If I do take a point away for any of these things, I also have an option of being able to add a note underneath so I could explain that a little bit more just for that parent to see. I can also invite co-teachers. This I think could also be cool, maybe if you collaborate a lot with your grade level partners so that you all would have access to one another's, or even to be able to share this with specialists. So if you have a PE teacher that would find this useful, it would be great for them to be able to come in and your students to know that they're going to have those same rewards and consequences, and that same communication would be going home with parents. So I'm back to the main page. Again, it's just very quick and easy. If I want to give Michaela a point, I can click here. I can decide, oh, she's giving one because she's on task. If Reese is maybe being a little bit disruptive, I've given her a warning. I'm going to go ahead and take a point by clicking here. This is totally and completely up to you. Some people don't like using the negative points. Some people only use it as a positive reinforcement. Some people don't do anything with the points. Sometimes kids earn prizes of some sort with the points. How you use this is totally and completely up to you. If you Google Class Dojo, there are so many cool ideas on Pinterest or in Teachers Pay Teachers of how teachers use this with charts that you can download and print. They have them earning rewards, and most of them are just things like they can change their little monster avatar, or they get to sit in a special chair during reading group, or they get to wear their slippers for a day. It doesn't have to be candy or food or things that cost money. There's lots of really fun ideas for things that students can earn that really motivate them. So I would encourage you to just kind of look and Google those kinds of things. I'm going to try to just scooch this down a little bit. Okay, so you can see at the bottom too, you can also track attendance. I liked this because if a certain student was absent that day, I could mark her absent, and that way if I was giving out points or taking away points from the whole group, it wouldn't affect the student that was absent. I can award multiple students at the same time, so I could click here if all three of them were, you know, getting ready quickly. I can do all three of those at the same time. One of my favorite things to do is use this random button here. So if students were getting a little bit noisy, I would click this. And can you kind of hear how it clicked through and then rolled through some names? So when the students started to hear that click, they knew that a point was going to be given out, but they would only get that point if it landed on their name if they were on task. So that worked really well. This was just a quick and easy timer that I would throw up oftentimes onto the screen when we were at centers or just needed a timer. Big Ideas is another really cool thing that they've added really recently, and it just has some really neat quick videos, character building kinds of videos that are great discussion starters with your students. If you're not using Class Dojo, you can still search for them. They have a YouTube channel and you're still able to access them and watch them for free, and I would definitely encourage you to check those out. They're great. Okay, you can also look at reports. Now, keep in mind these students are from last year. I just added a couple of points in today just so that there's something to look for. Here's our whole class picture, so you can kind of see it shows you the positive percentage or you know, the negative percentages. It will do this for the students, and then their parents could see this. You can see here where it shows them, oh, Avery got a point for great job at library, PE, or music, and then I could come in here and I could add more detail to that if I wanted to, which is particularly useful if you're taking a point from a student. You can also create a spreadsheet, and then you could print this as well if you wanted a copy of that report. Class Story is another fairly new feature that I think is awesome and would be a great alternative for teachers who want to be able to share things that are happening in their classroom, but they maybe don't want to mess with having a separate blog like on Weebly or Blogger or something. So I could quickly write up a post here. Today we used felt board on the iPads and made some shape collages. So this is something I could do with my students, or I could do on my own. I could add a photo, or I could just post what I had written. So I had a little screenshot over here of maybe an event from the class or an example of some work that we had done. So I can add that and then I can post. And again, it'll just make a stream where parents could come in and kind of see things that are happening in your classroom. If they're connected, they could like it, they could comment on it. So again, it says only connected parents can see what you post on Class Story. So it's not open to anyone. It is just open to people who are connected. There's also a messaging feature that works very similar to Remind. So if you didn't want to add one more thing on top of Class Dojo, you could use this in the same way that you would use Remind. I can send notes to all students. There's an example here. Don't forget, school ends at 12 tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing you all. Or I could send a note to just one particular student. You can kind of see, I don't know, some of these are. So this works really well just to send quick messages out to students. If you do have questions, I'm sure that there are Class Dojo experts around that you could ask and visit with and learn more, or you can catch me later.